they never considered possible was that a society that was hunter-gatherers would have created a gigantic megalithic site. And then suddenly, Göbekli Tepe is discovered. It dates to 11,600 years ago. It's more than 5,000 years older than the supposedly oldest megalithic architecture in the world. And it is in a center where there had been no previous evidence of agriculture. But the moment Göbekli Tepe appears, agriculture appears as well.
Hey fam, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another reaction. This is Segovia coming to you live from the man cave. Hope everyone out there is having a good day. Happy Saturday, y'all. Good morning. It's early over here. We're getting this video out the way because we got a couple more days with the family in town, y'all. We're gonna watch that Cardinal game tomorrow. My woman's cooking some caldo de res, right? She makes some good soups, y'all. She makes some good soups. But before we get into that, dog, we're just gonna get into a quick reaction, y'all. Not a long reaction. We got a 24-minute video with me talking, probably 28-minute long video. Longer videos will start happening again on Monday, y'all. So stay patient. Got family here. I don't want to be in here all day reacting to videos, right? But anyways, y'all, I ain't gonna sit here talk you guys' ears off like y'all know I can do. Let's get into the reaction. Enjoy the show.
They've canceled out 1 million potential votes that would have been illegal. See if you can find that.
Wow.
So they found a bunch of people, I think 500,000 that were registered to vote that were dead. And then there's a bunch of other people that were registered that were ineligible. And so the way they're framing it in Texas, the way I saw it framed in one newspaper, that Ken Paxton is going after Latinos because he doesn't want them to vote. 1.1 million ineligible voters removed from Texas voter rolls. So Texas has removed 1.1 million. That's a lot, folks.
Look at that. 457,000 were deceased.
Yes, 457,000 deceased people, 6,500 potential non-citizens. And so top Texas Republicans have dedicated significant time and resources to targeting voter fraud, though cases in Texas are exceedingly rare. Well, I mean, the thing is, just the fact that that's going on, that they found 1 million people that shouldn't be eligible. Like that, goddamn, that could shift an election. How many people vote?
Oh, look, Georgia was decided by what, 12,000, 1,200 votes? It was some ridiculously small number.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the way this is going to be in November. Is that the only people that matter going into November, frankly, are the undecideds.
When you look at the accusations of voter fraud in 2020, does any of it stick? Does any of it, will you look at it and go, that is weird?
I would say that in our current system, I don't have any evidence of actual, I can't point to actual moments and say, yeah, look at that. That was voter fraud. But I will say this. You may have heard me mention that I have a company, Portman Square Group, that does a lot of things, including fraud investigations. The President's Daily Brief, by the way, our YouTube channel, @President's Daily Brief, is killing it. I'm told.
China has just had to urgently evacuate over 400,000 people after they were hit by one of the most powerful super typhoons in over a decade. And for perspective, a super typhoon is equivalent to that of a Category 5 hurricane. All schools in the area that it made landfall were shut, trains, boats, and flights were suspended, and all tourist attractions have been closed down. The winds near its center reached a staggering 145 miles per hour. And this typhoon has doubled in strength after it killed more than 16 people in the Philippines last week. It's now predicted to move along and hit Vietnam this weekend.
Getting bad, y'all. We got another clip coming up that in India, is this true? 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
People say now when it comes to the moon landings is they say, well, I was on the fence about it, but then I saw China's footage and you can see the thing there on the moon, and it's like, okay.
I saw that Chinese stuff and the Indian stuff and I thought, this is terrible CGI. This is how a lot of these scams are going to start to fall apart, though. Who could possibly believe this stuff? And it was the Chinese. They presented some of this footage as real, and then you saw community notes on Twitter saying, oh, well, it's not real. It's a computer simulation that they added in for training purposes or something. It's just like, shut up. You got busted. Just admit it. Just cop to it.
Yeah.
I love me some giants, y'all. It's the one thing I go down the rabbit hole on. Fascinated with giants roaming the earth at one time. there's a Navy SEAL on the Sean Ryan show that just said there was more oxygen in the atmosphere, so things grew bigger, trees, humans, animals. I have to find that clip for next tomorrow's video. Thanks.
What they never considered possible was that a society that was hunter-gatherers would have created a gigantic megalithic site. And then suddenly, Göbekli Tepe is discovered. It dates to 11,600 years ago. It's more than 5,000 years older than the supposedly oldest megalithic architecture in the world. And it is in a center where there had been no previous evidence of agriculture. But the moment Göbekli Tepe appears, agriculture appears as well. And this is just something that's really hard for archaeology to explain. They've suddenly got 5,000 years of missing history that they've just never taken into account. And what I see them doing is largely avoiding the problem.
Well, that for a long time you were out there on your own with a lot of these theories.
Very much so. Also subjected to the most blistering and deeply unpleasant criticism, like how dare this journalist propose that history might be different, or that we might have a forgotten chapter in the human story. It was regarded almost as offensive that I would put this material out there, and archaeologists felt it was their responsibility to show the public that I was full of and that was the whole way my work was greeted.
Two things I love going down the rabbit hole on: giants and ancient civilizations and catastrophic events happening, right? These Graham Hancock clips. We got a good Randall Carlson to end the video. I believe it's at the end of the video, talking about just catastrophic events that wiped out civilizations, ancient technologies. I love that stuff, y'all.
You can see something really weird if you look at a map of the seafloor. It's right there. That is a continent that has almost completely sunk into the ocean. About 85 million years ago, this giant chunk of continental crust called Zealandia broke off from the rest of the land of the Earth around the South Pole. This is where Antarctica is now.
It took scientists 375 years to discover the 8th continent of the world. But where is it? Zealandia is 94% underwater. These things have convinced scientists that Zealandia is a legit 8th continent.
But what you know about Zealandia?
Oh
my days. Oh my diddy. An 8th continent has just been found underneath New Zealand.
None of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because there are a bunch of war hawks. Okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives.
There will be no neighbors if there's a nuclear bomb. You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become. You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that. Then let's take it up right now, because this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We could be in a nuclear war at any minute, and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on. Why not right now? You're the liar here. Nobody has held you accountable. That's what's happening. And it is time for you to stand up and realize that what you've been saying has been lies. Let your conscience come through for once.
One place you do not want to be right now is India. India's having one of the hottest heat waves in human history, even melting roads. Temperatures in India are as high as 60 degrees Celsius. If you're wondering how hot that is 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And the weirdest part is only India is suffering this right now. And it's the entire country. No surrounding countries are having problems like tires literally melting off the rim and plastic trash cans melting on the roads. To make things even worse, India is amidst of a water crisis. Yearly 200,000 people die due to inadequate water source. And over 70% of the population does not have access to drinking water. This heat wave just started days ago. Over 100 people have passed away due to heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Heat wave is causing people to do this. Literally sell chunks of ice that will melt within 10 minutes. Indian government is also in a standstill. When cops and military personnel arrive, there's really not much they can do because even they don't have drinking water. And most of the people in this country don't even have regulated air conditioning. And it's only beginning.
Can you imagine? 140? Where I'm at right now, y'all, it's a nice 78, 82 degrees, nice breeze, cloudy, right? Arizona, about I think it's cooling down, right? About 107, but 140, y'all, that is crazy. I've been in 115, maybe 118, maybe 120 in Arizona, maybe. We used to play outside. We used to run the mountains in that heat, y'all.
Currently the largest engineering project on Earth. The Chinese are constructing the aqueduct on site, piece by piece as they go, in separate 50-meter-long sections. Each one starts off as a giant framework of steel rods. A team of 20 men build this bird nest-like skeleton. The whole structure is encased in concrete. Then it's ready to be moved into position with one of the world's most powerful cranes. Each section weighs 1,200 tons, more than 3 jumbo jets. The aqueduct is so long, it won't be fully operational until 2030. When it's carrying water, millions in northern China will benefit.
That's what they're doing in China. They're making rivers. What are we doing? What are we doing? Right? But just thinking about that, world's most powerful crane, couldn't even lift the stones on the pyramids, right? What were they doing? Were they giants?
Whoa. Has anybody else seen this Megan Fox interview with Glamour Magazine UK? This is one of the craziest admissions I've ever heard of in an interview. Now, it's been massively edited, this video, by me, for guideline purposes on TikTok. Listen to this.
It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume it on occasion for ritual purposes only. It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops and each drink it. He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like be like, take my soul. It doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened many times.
Crazy. Why would you even admit to that in a public interview where millions and millions of people can watch it? The amount of accounts that have been shut down.
Some freaky stuff out there, y'all.
Videos like this in the past. And now Megan Fox is just out here admitting it willy-nilly, publicly.
It's a fucking tiger. That tiger just walking in the neighborhood. What does Joe Rogan bring up on every other podcast? There's more tigers in Texas than there is in the world.
Like, who has a tiger in Texas?
One of them got out.
Get the fuck back inside. Fuck you and your fucking tiger. Get the fuck back inside now. Get the fuck back inside.
Hey, I don't trust that gun, man. He don't even have his eye on that tiger.
Someone in Texas has a fucking tiger, man. You can clearly tell in this video this is a very nice neighborhood where people have money, and apparently these people have enough money to be buying tigers and shit. So this guy here is legitimately having like a Mexican standoff with a tiger in a neighborhood in Texas. Like, he's got his gun pointed at the tiger and he's like, what are we doing, buddy? And you can hear a guy saying, I'm gonna come get him. So it's one of the people in these houses who has the tiger, and the tiger just somehow got out. That's fucking crazy. And your kid is just out there playing with their friends.
I was gonna say.
And a fucking tiger comes and takes your kid. I don't know how you would recover from that shit. I mean, the kid is definitely not recovering. I'm talking about the parents dealing with the after effects of being in a safe, nice neighborhood in Texas, and a fucking tiger came and took their kid.
It's interesting.
That's what I was gonna actually say that when the video is over, but imagine your kid out there playing and you see a tiger walk by. You got to run out there and get your kid, right? You don't know where he's at the park, down the street, something. It's ridiculous that people got those, but Joe Rogan says it all the time that there's more tigers in Texas as pets than there is in the wild in the world. I'm in Texas. There could be a tiger next door. I ain't in no $1 million houses, but
interesting, right? Because we did, growing up, always associate unions and blue-collar people with voting Democrat, because Democrats were looking out for the middle class, looking out for people's best interests, supporting unions and fair wages and funding schools and all that kind of stuff, keeping neighborhoods safe. And Republicans were more like small government, fuck you, figure it out, I don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah, stingy.
And they were the ones that are encouraging war.
Yep.
Which is crazy today, that you have this massive 180-degree shift, and the Democrats are talking about how important it is that we keep funding Ukraine, and that, you know, we have some sort of whether you're pro-Hamas or pro-Palestine, I should say, or whether you're pro-Israel, there's involvement in that. No one is saying, no Democrats are saying we need to get the fuck out of there.
Right.
They're saying we need to free Palestine. Oh, okay. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? How much is involved in that? Are you going to bring in people? You're going to send people there? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to kill people for this? What are we doing? The Democrats you guys are looking for war. You're not looking for peaceful solutions. Like, this is kind of weird. This is interesting. You know, that we need to beat Russia. Are you out of your fucking mind? Right. Are you serious? Do you know how big that place is? Do you know how much military force is behind Putin?
This is Edwin from Venezuela. Migrant, invited by the Democrat Party. He'd like to come into the Democrat Party.
Hello.
You have to get credentials. Yep, you have to go to Jackson.
Yep. Wait, you mean he needs credentials and permission to come in to get past the wall?
He said hello.
The border wall in a way, huh?
Yeah. You have to have ID.
Oh, an
ID. To come to the United States?
No.
Not to come to the United States. Okay, but to come to the Democratic Convention. Okay. You believe in security. You believe in securing a boundary.
Not to come in the United States, but to get into the Democratic Convention, you need an ID.
Edwin can't come in.
Without credentials.
That's
without an ID.
I commend you on guarding this border. You're doing it very effectively, folks.
Right.
There's a process to get into the convention. It requires an application. It requires approval. It requires ID. It requires all these things to get into the convention of the people who don't care about any of those things with the country.
Super xenophobic, Mark. And racist.
You cannot make this up.
Since you brought Mars up, Billy.
Yeah.
What the heck happened? What's Mars? What happened? I'm
Mars.
sure there's some text, some ancient thing you read somewhere along the line that said there was this planet.
Yeah.
It wasn't red. I'm assuming it has an atmosphere, from my understanding.
Oh, it has oxygen and everything there.
But it's very
thin.
Yeah, we can't.
We wouldn't be able to just go up there and say,
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we're not there yet. We need to terraform the damn place. But there's remnants of an atmosphere. There's remnants of being of life, even water.
They still have running water on Mars.
Yeah, they're saying that there's water underneath.
No, they found a lake.
They found a lake of water.
They found a 12-hectare lake just about maybe 2 years ago. They did a press release on mainstream news where they showed water running down the side of a mountain on Mars. They said that the soil on Mars is better for growing crops than the soil on Earth now.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they are really allowing, prepping us that they're going to be moving to Mars. A breakaway civilization will be created on Mars. We're the new Anunnaki.
So what happened to it? Because it must have been thriving at one point.
A couple things happened to Mars. Mars has a crazy story. The first thing is Mars was not a planet. Mars only recently became a planet. It was a habitable moon that orbited a planet, which is now the asteroid belt.
What did you discover as part of this movie? This is a whole underground economy of children. It's horrific.
It really is. And that some of it has to do with the policies at the border. And our film isn't political at all. But what really has happened is that a lot of kids came to the border in suburbans from very poor countries like Guatemala, and the families paid $3,000 to $5,000 per kid, and they thought that these children could have a better life here in the United States. And if you go back and watch your own news stuff, there were tents with hundreds of children, and they were all dropped off there, and we welcome them into the United States.
But we need to take care of them and make sure they're protected, and they're not.
Yeah, the problem is that the foster system does weekly and monthly checks on the children to make sure they're okay. And what happened here...
In a normal foster system.
In a foster system, what happened here is we welcome these children in here, and that sponsor families, some of the rules were changed. They don't need to be a parent or an uncle or anything. It could be anybody. And some of the traffickers suggested the sponsor, and the New York Times article says there's homes in Florida and Texas with 15 to 20 kids all sleeping on the floor, not in school, and 15 passenger vans are picking up kids, 15 at a time, and they're cleaning pig slaughterhouses and doing the whole night shift. And we're allowing this all to happen under our noses here in the greatest country of the world, the United States.
Y'all think this is a coincidence?
Now, I remember, because I do Spark, right, on the side, make a little income. Not in Texas, but in Arizona, there's 2 apartment complexes where I used to live, the apartment complex next door. I do some deliveries where it'll be like 20 gallons of milk, 5-10 boxes of cereal, big blocks of cheese, right? And then when I go to the door, there's like a camera on the door. You look at the balcony, there's like foil on the windows, right? They don't want nobody seeing in there. They want to see who's at the door with the camera. I'm like, I bet you they got about, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they have 50 kids in there or 50 migrants in there. Like, who knows what was behind that door? And that one stuck with me. I was like, man, because it just felt eerie, like the way they had a camera at the front door, the way their balcony was like all blocked off. You couldn't see what's going on in there, and something sketchy was going on because they ordered in bulk, and milk goes bad. You can't keep milk for what, more than a week or 2. It spoils. So there was a lot of people in that apartment complex, y'all. Scary. Right next door.
The Bass Pro Shop is right on the Mississippi River. Oh, that has seven major streams, like the Bible says, when the Nile only has 3 major streams. 11:15. And the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. No, this is no coincidence. There's no coincidences with God. And the devil mocks God. Okay, Jesus said, I will make you fishers of men. Memphis, Egyptian origin, enduring and beautiful.
The following video comes from a witness out of Europe. He was out walking his dog one early winter morning when he came upon a frozen lake, and specifically a hole in that lake. But it's what he captures inside that has everybody completely baffled. Honestly, it looked like an eye to me. But really, what the heck did he film? What is in this water? Is it biological or is it environmental? Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
Like Halo 3. I would have thrown a rock in there or something.
What the fuck? New York City, there are buildings where the apartments go for $5 million, $10 million, $20 million, $50 million, right? They're 80% empty. Do you know why they're 80% empty? Because people from China, Russia, South America who are doing nefarious stuff, they'll buy an apartment, they'll buy a flat in London for $140 million. You go, what, $140 million? Who would ever live there? They don't live there. They don't rent it either, because then they can't call it as an asset.
Investment.
Now what you do is this. You take that $140 million flat, you borrow against it. So now you take that money and you put it in the stock market, and that's how you wash your money, baby.
Whoa.
Yes.
I think it had to do with the idea of what if humans just suddenly departed? Mm-hmm. What if we took humans out of the equation? What would happen to all of the infrastructure left behind? Just under normal kind of gradualistic change that we're used to within, the last few centuries. The upshot of it is that 10,000 years from now, it's pretty much gone. If you look at the great buildings that make up all the metropolitan areas now of the world, most of them are steel frame structures, and they're clothed in a skin that will keep the elements out maybe for a half a century, but without maintenance. I mean, that the Golden Gate Bridge up in San Francisco is constantly undergoing maintenance, because if you stop maintaining it, immediately it starts decaying. Immediately it starts rusting. And interesting, if you think about if humans left the planet 10,000 years from now, some interstellar anthropologists arrive, what would they see that would indicate that we had been here? What do you think would still be left after 10,000 years? There's actually two things that they named in this particular program. I bet you can guess one of them.
Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore. Good guess. Yes, that's one of them. And, of course, the Great Pyramid would be the other one. And that's it. Everything else is gone.
Wow.
Now, when you now begin to factor in the thing that I've been basically working with is the idea that we have these intermittent, I call them non-linearities, discontinuities within the normal orderly progression of things, the catastrophes, if you will. Superimpose a few of those in the process, and basically 5,000, 10,000 years from now, you're not going to find much to show that we had been here.
Can you imagine the next civilization, right? They're going to be like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. On Mount Rushmore, they're going to be worshipped as gods, right? But anyways, y'all, hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction. There you go. I thought it was a good one. Good one. A little short, but not too bad. 30 minutes, y'all. You can't be mad at me 30 minutes, y'all. You can't be mad. I got family out there and everything. So hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction, y'all. But this is Segovia. I'm going to be back tomorrow, Sunday. I'll probably be rocking my Kyler Murray jersey, my Cardinal hat. Even though I get a lot of comments saying, why do you watch football as a grown man? I'll watch it, y'all. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the Man Cave. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a good Saturday. Get some good food in you. Get some good drinks in you. Drink responsibly, y'all. Signing out of the Man Cave. Later.